And there we go. Happy Tuesday, Hacksters! It is a glorious day that I have spent mostly cranking on one project, which is this Azure Sphere kit. Let me show you this guy. This is the kit plus a couple of microelectronica click relay modules, and I'm working on getting my first program uploaded to it. It is honestly rather more difficult because I'm trying to learn how to use Windows at the same time. But yeah, we're making progress. I got it all set up and stuff. All I gotta do is load up one of the example programs, but I wanted to get a video out before the end of the day, so here we go. I went through our recent blog posts, which is a trap for me. I was looking for posts about the Azure Sphere itself, which are going to be coming up in a couple of days. Spoiler alert. Well, I'm not going to tell you what's in them, though. But you should stay tuned if you want more information about that. In the meantime, here's some of my favorite recent blog posts covering some really cool stuff. And there's a literal waterfall of a figurative waterfall of links in the description of this video, so go check them out. Of course, we're still celebrating the fact that we have 1 million users! That's 1 mega hackster for those keeping track at home, if you're using SI notation. Anyway, very exciting, and you can find all kinds of stuff in various sections here, including crowdfunding, new stuff, robots, trending things, all kinds of neat things. And one of my favorite initial ones are these tiny 10-gram tribots that slide, jump, and work as a team. I'm really fascinated by the idea of emergent behavior and swarming robotics. It seems like a really good way to accomplish things in a sort of self-healing way. If you saw the recent Spider-Man, never mind. No spoilers. Yeah, you'll see that I really am trying not to spoil. Okay, anyway, swarming robots are cool. It helps if they can work together in a very robust way. And here's an example of them doing their little thing here. Oh, it's so cool! Look at them go! They can even jump. Is there a demo of jumping on here? Look at their little feet. Look at their little feet go! Look at it go! It's gonna, oh no, is it gonna fall? They're controlled by, way! Look at these beautiful folded PCBs that they have in this design, and they're controlled by shape memory alloy, aka muscle wire, aka usually nitinol, which is like a nickel tin alloy, I think, something like that. Nickel something. I don't want to dive too deep into that. So, also really popular lately, Alistair's blog post about the new Raspberry Pi 4 and its capabilities. He's been doing a bunch of different benchmarking tests. And so if you just look and scroll through, you'll find a bunch of the different ones that will satisfy all of your curiosity about running AI on the new, on the Pi 4, all kinds of different questions you can answer there. LiDAR on a chip, I think, is fascinating. I went a couple times to this event called DIY Robocars, which, if you're in the Bay Area, is a cool thing started by Chris Anderson of DIY Drones. Now he's doing little AI car racing, and this could be a really cool game changer for that. Look how tiny this is. Also here in the Bay Area, we see all kinds of autonomous cars being trained, people driving around in them, and you got the wee 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 thing. It's actually silent, but like this little spinning thing on the top, right? Maybe a few of them. And this is the equivalent of that. It's much smaller and doesn't spin. It uses, what is it called? Silicon photonics to guide the beam of laser light around on the chip so that it can look around itself without physically rotating. So there's no mechanical parts, which means it's it's capable of being so much smaller. And if you look at these, just look at the wire bonds on here. That is ridiculous. So cool. We've got an example of a new product from Nick Pissarro, who makes, I've featured him on here before because he makes really beautiful PCB art. For example, this beautiful badge that has a little shake detector, so it lights up from behind. It's all backlit. When you tap it, it's really gorgeous. So I saw this on his Instagram recently, and it's a really cool thing. you solder it together, you plug your questionable USB cable in one side, and you can tell if it's a smart cable or not. So this, for example, the smart cable lights every pin. It's transmitting data as well as power, which is, you can never tell from the outside of a USB cable what kind of cable it is. So this is, solving that problem. Fantastic. Yeah. And you can find that on Tindy. Is it me or is it USB? Also, from Cameron, he found a simple solar harvester project. I love solar power. I think it's so cool. I think it's the future. And there's all kinds of cool stuff going on in this project. We covered recently the PiJuice Zero, which is a board that allows your Raspberry Pi Zero to run. It's a smaller, you can get a regular PiJuice for your regular Pi, or the PiJuice Zero for your Pi Zero, that will allow you to power it from all kinds of different options, but including a solar panel like the one that they sent me that's giant and gorgeous and has two 5-volt outs. And there's also an article about that on our blog by Cabe Atwell, so you can check that out if you're into solar power. It has a really cool design that you can kind of see here, where there's these headers mounted on the top that are female headers, but they're sort of pass-through headers. I don't know if that's what you call them, but that's how I would assume you'd call them. They've got holes on the bottom of the board there, so that the Pi has these male headers on it, and they just stick up through the holes into the female headers, and that way you take up a lot less space rather than mounting a full-size female header on the bottom of the PiJuice Zero hat. You have them protrude up through it from below, and then you save a lot of extra space. It's super cool. What else we got? Oh, this is a really exciting one for me because I have always wanted to be able to force myself to get exercise in order to be on the internet. Like, one of my dream projects is making an exercise bike that powers the internet, so that in order to be on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, or the Hackster blog where I lose all my time immediately, I have to be constantly doing something active. It could be a treadmill, it could be whatever. It could be a giant hamster wheel like some friends of mine built. I think they got on Ellen with that. Or was it? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah. You could adapt this kill switch, which is designed in this case as an e-stop that you can threaten your teenagers with, which is also a great idea. Always threaten teenagers when you get the chance. But you can adapt this to any number of different applications, and for example, I don't know, all kinds of different sensors and stuff you could set up. It's based on a Raspberry Pi that sends commands to your router to change its firewall settings. But I'm curious if this would work with a Pi-hole as well, which, if you're not aware, is a Raspberry Pi-based device that basically eats all the traffic. It sits between your router and your devices, I think. Or is it between the wall and the router? Anyway, it sits in the middle and eats all the ads, so you can configure it to display other stuff like fun cat photos instead of ads, or any number of other things. Always ask your roommate's permission before installing that, or your family's, or whatever. Carl Bugaya has been working on this cool jigsaw puzzle PCB motor, a 3D version of his previous motors, which were super cool. If you haven't been watching his Instagram, you should. He's got all kinds of, this PCB robot, for example, is an example. Or actually, this, even better, this butterfly that he made. He mounts well, first off, he drew the coils with conductive ink and a pen plotter. Lots of failures, great to see. And then he uses that as an electromagnetic coil, and then attaches it above a magnet, and when you pass voltage through the coil, it becomes a magnet, and so you can attract or repel the other magnet and therefore make things happen. And so he made this cool butterfly. Look at that, it's so cool. Anyway, he's making more cool stuff. You can follow him. I put the link in the description, but it's bugaya.carl on Instagram, or just go check out this whole blog post, which includes a whole video from him about it. Very cool. Ah. And then I also got stuck on our hand-picked projects of the week. I think Artie does this, I'm not sure who does it, but lots of really cool stuff. I got especially captivated by two of these projects. One of them is the real Harry Potter wand with computer vision. I'm just fascinated by retroreflective materials, and this one by Jasmeet Singh is a fantastic example of this. Apparently in Disney World they give you, you can buy, I assume, a wand with a retroreflective bead on the tip, one big one, which is interesting. And then they use a system where it shoots infrared light from next to the camera out at the world, and then your retroreflective tip will reflect it back at whatever, that's what retroreflection is. It goes back to whatever the source is directly, no matter what angle it's held at, and so that reflects it back to the source, which is mounted right by the camera, so the camera sees this bright object, but since it's infrared light, your eyes don't see it. It's just magic. And so in this way, like a smart camera can pick up gestures that you perform with this preternaturally glowing tip on this wand, that you can use to lock things and unlock things in this case, but all kinds of cool different stuff. So check it out. There's some cool photos on here and stuff. Fascinating. And finally, from our friend Kitty Young, she has made this beautiful Saturn dress, which I think is brilliant because it's like, see how it's Saturn on the dress, but then the rings are on the skirt, and then when you spin, the skirt goes up and it becomes the rings. I love this. So when you spin around, the planets and satellites light up. This is made with an Adafruit Flora. She's using a separate 6-axis IMU, some string lights, lithium-ion battery, and as usual, she has made her own dress. She's not only a talented engineer, but also a talented fabric engineer who has created her own fabrics and then turns them into garments. So check that out. She goes through that whole process as well, which is just really cool. And then being able to turn that into a pattern for a dress, and that into an actual physical dress, and then like put the circuit in and make all the interactions happen and stuff. This is just really cool. Stop! Too cool. I'm mad about this now. Not fair. It's a great tutorial. Go check it out, and you'll be just as mad as I am. Kitty, you're so cool! Yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. So go to blog.hackster.io. Stay tuned for some more cool stuff coming up soon. And in the meantime, get ready to lose a few hours of your life as you go down this rabbit hole, which is my gift to you on this Tuesday evening. All right, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Don't go too deep down the rabbit hole, or let us know which your favorite articles are. And we'll see you tomorrow. Hack on. Gotta get ready to stop the stream before I see my cat